I do want to get into Sound of Freedom again, Rhodes, because there's been an absolute meltdown, as you well know, from the mainstream media. The mainstream media is completely against this movie. And, if the right says that, hey, child trafficking is bad, they have to say, oh, no, no, it's good. That's what it seems to be, the narrative out there with them.
Look,
Well,
if you got a negative thing to say about the message of the movie, that tells us all we need to know.
yeah,
Yikes.
exactly. Well, CNN, they actually going on with this whole QAnon thing again. Look at this here. This is ridiculous. Jack here posts, now CNN is demanding no one see Sound of Freedom. They're saying the movie will make more QAnon somehow. The pro-pedo media are terrified of the masses seeing this film. Let's go ahead and play this here. And I'm going to go check something at my door real quick, too, while we're playing
Okay.
this.
All right.
And you seem pretty familiar with him because he doesn't really hide his association with this real wild plot that involves, drinking the blood of children and things like that.
No, he doesn't hide it at all. And you have a lot of people who are in this world of QAnon who say, oh, they don't know what that is. They've never heard of it. They're just asking questions. With somebody like Jim Caviezel, he is openly embracing it. He's openly using its catchphrases and its concepts. He's speaking at QAnon conventions. And this film is being marketed to either specific QAnon believers or to people who believe all of the same tenets as QAnon, but claim they don't know what it is.
And The Sound of Freedom does focus on a real issue of sex trafficking. But that theme, it's sort of like that kernel of truth that feeds the QAnon conspiracy theory. Tell us how those two things work together.
Sure. And the most durable and the most believable conspiracy theories are not entirely false. There's something in them that is true and the rest of it is false. But the believers point to the one true thing and they say, oh, you don't believe that this particular thing is true. In terms of child trafficking, we know trafficking is real. We know it has real victims. No one is denying that. But these films are created out of moral panics. They're created out of bogus statistics. They're created out of fear. And with something like Sound of Freedom, it specifically is looking at QAnon concepts of these child trafficking rings that are run by the high-level elites, and only people like Tim Ballard and only people like Jim Caviezel, and by extension, only people like the ticket buyer can help bring these trafficking rings down. So there's a very participatory element. You're not just going to see a movie, you're just killing 2 hours on a hot day. You are helping bring down these pedophile rings and save children. Now, it's not true, but it's a very comforting and it's a very warm feeling to have.
All right. So you saw that and you heard that right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I had actually seen this yesterday, late evening, come across maybe it was Newsmax.
Yeah.
I am baffled by the fact that a movie could simply do the following: raise awareness.
Yes.
Raise awareness. Present something to people that didn't exactly know what was going on, wasn't tuned in to Fox News over the last 5 years, or to Newsmax, or to OAN, or to some of these more conservative channels that are willing to talk about this, doesn't read the Daily Wire or the Blaze or whatever. Insert your conservative outlet here, or just outlets that are willing to play more fair. You can go to Rotten Tomatoes and look through the reviews, and you will see a lot of people going, I didn't know a lot about this topic.
Right.
But it's opened my eyes.
Yes.
So in what damn world does anybody live in that they think opening the eyes to human and child trafficking is not a positive development in the world that we're living in right now, whether it's coming from a movie, a song, any way possible that can raise awareness?
They're trying to make this a political thing, and they keep bringing up QAnon. This is crazy right here. Now I found out that raid actually happened back in 2014. I believe it was actually the beach raid that we actually saw in the movie. That was 2014 when that happened. This movie was made in 2018. Now, the thing is, man, you heard the part about eating kids' blood in that clip right there or something like that?
Yeah.
Rhodes,
Yeah.
did you see any blood drinking in that movie?
I in fact did not. It was not a movie about vampires that
So
I am aware of.
Where in the world did this whole QAnon thing come from? It wasn't even in the movie.
Look, they can drop the Q word in, QAnon, and this is what a lot of Democrats, and I've heard this, you Republicans, you right-wingers, you're all caught up in your conspiracy theories and your tinfoil hat conspiracies, and you're reading these articles that are just flat lies and blah blah blah. So the moment they drop the Q word in there, they can try to steer this in the direction of this is conspiracy theory. This is made up rhetoric. It's just some of the colorful ways that the mainstream media is trying to steer this ship. Look, the media is a little concerned because we're seeing a massive rise in citizen journalism. We're seeing a massive rise in, guess what? Oh, shit. You don't control Twitter anymore. You don't. That's Elon Musk. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. It seems that Joe Rogan has expanded his mind quite a bit over the last 2 years. We don't have him as nearly the ally we once did. All of these things that was playing in their favor has fell out of favor for them. And Lord knows, all you got to look at is CNN's ratings, and you can see the out of favor that people have gotten in the different directions that they're moving in and trying to get their news or whatever they're trying to get. And the Q word is a easy play for these people. Oh, it's the QAnon nuts. Yeah. And they can try to steer it that way. By the way, it's the movie is still killing it at the box office.
Yes, it is.
Just to let people know.
There's talk on people asking, can this movie actually make $100 million at the box office? I think it probably needs a little bit of international screens to actually help that. But regardless, this thing is already a massive success already. But Tim Ballard, man, he's firing back at CNN for this whole QAnon thing. Let's go ahead and watch this here.
I want you to hear what CNN said about you. Listen to this and have you respond.
Films are created out of moral panics. They're created out of bogus statistics. They're created out of fear. And with something like Sound of Freedom, it specifically is looking at QAnon concepts of these child trafficking rings that are run by the high-level elites, and only people like Tim Ballard and only people like Jim Caviezel, and by extension, only people like the ticket buyer can help bring these trafficking rings down.
Do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, as that guy's talking, and he's nobody's hero, by the way. I can't imagine any kid looking at him thinking he's going to help them out. But I think of the children that are really depicted in that film. I know what happened to them. Those children were the subjects of child rape videos. Those children were being sold for sex. In total, you see over 120 kids actually are rescued in the story that's being depicted, even if the movie doesn't get into all of them. These are real kids. I see them. I'm still friends with them. So it's embarrassing and frankly grotesque for this guy who knows nothing to start throwing out terms like QAnon and connecting it to a real story. I mean, they're not even thinking about it. So what are they thinking about?
Are
They're
they
thinking about trying to stop a
pro-sex
group from rescuing
trafficking?
children?
It's so bizarre. It's like they're pro-sex trafficking. Like, leave the industry alone.
They are.
That's how it feels to me. It feels like there's some other agenda, because why do this?
There's that one scene in the movie where it's an older man and he's picking out what little boy or what little girl he wants to take into, but I just can't even talk about it, but to take away. And we know what's going to happen to that child. Does that really happen, and how often does it happen?
Well, this is happening all the time. There are 6 million children, believe it or not, according to the Department of Labor, Department of State, who are stuck in slavery of one kind or another. Either it's sex, labor, or organ harvesting. I mean, organ harvesting, we've been taking down several organ harvesting rings where they take little babies and use them that way. And so we see everything, and the film depicts every kind, whether it's the lure, like you mentioned, that's a real person, that beauty queen who was recruiting kids as young as 9 years old and then grooming them to be sex slaves, or whether it's the more kind of, hey, you've been taken, we're going to select you for this or that. We see everything. It's all in existence, and there's millions of kids.
Yeah. So there you have it right there. And the organ harvesting thing, now that wasn't in the movie right there. But it's pretty clear that the media is terrified of this whole thing. And sorry about the noise, my yard guys out there. Hey, but I'm glad that Tim Ballard actually called out CNN for this thing. It's disgusting, man, what they are at, the narrative they actually want to push out there. They're not even saying, hey, this is good, man. They made this movie to actually bring awareness. They're not even doing that. They're just like, this is a conspiracy, right? That's what they're doing. And it's really, really disgusting, man, that the mainstream media, MSNBC out there saying, oh, fitness is based in Nazism and stuff like that. It's crazy. The narratives that these people are pushing, they're making exercise now be the equivalent of white supremacy.